3, 2. What's up? What are we doing again?
Oh man. Yeah. What are we doing, Nicole? What are we doing? What are any of us doing in here?
It's a good question.
And that will be answered on House Business this week. Welcome to House Business, where we give you business ideas on the house. I'm your host, Marc.
And I'm your host, Nicole. And this week I'm pitching and I just forgot what my idea was. We need to start this over. Oh my gosh. I just had such a mind blank. Okay, wait. Got it.
We were there.
I got it. And this week it's my idea and it's my party. Pitch.
This right here feel like money. This right here feel like money. Ooh. Money moves. Ooh. Money moves. Ooh. This right here feel like money. This right here feel like money. Ooh.
Well, we struggled through that intro for the
come on.
millionth time.
It's hot in here. It's hot today. It's summertime. The brains are melting a little bit. We're hanging in there. We're ready to rock.
We're hanging in. I just got a full image of you're just it's so hot in here. I can't handle this. And next time, you're just, anyways, moving on.
Next time I'm a puddle, I'm a literal melted puddle.
You're just shirtless and just I can't take it.
I don't think we're going to do that online. I think that we're going to keep that.
No, I think we're going to move on. So, okay, I was thinking, I was thinking a little bit about the two of us and our friendship. Mm-hmm. And I had a thought that we've never talked about, and I was curious. So if we are not arguing or debating or talking about business ideas, Marc, what are we talking about? What is a topic that comes to mind when you think of our conversations? If someone read through our text and all that.
Yeah. Ignoring all the obvious ones of fighting with each other and yelling. Yeah.
Right.
It's usually, honestly, it's a lot of music stuff. And it's a lot of planning. I feel like it's a lot of planned stuff.
Right. You hit it. I was going for music. I was thinking I bet a third of our conversation is new music, new albums. I think both you and I really appreciate music and sharing that with each other, which I love about you. So my question though, for you today was more, we've never really talked about concerts, and I love live music. Yeah, I recently saw Garth Brooks at Summerfest, and it was he is a favorite of mine. He's not streaming on any platforms. So he's usually not in a lot of playlists, right? He's I have to get out a vinyl or a CD usually to listen to him.
Wow. That's so retro. That's so retro of you, Nicole.
I know,
I mean,
right?
You're just not like other people that listen to music. You're just so
I'm
hip,
Marc,
and you're cool.
As they would say, cool people. I'm hip.
Yeah, you are hip. You're cool for sure. That's definitely.
I think when so at the concert, I got a few thoughts. One, I knew every word to every song, obviously.
I love moments like that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But two, I was just kind of curious. He is probably one of my favorite concerts I've ever seen. Top 2, top 3.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what some of yours are. Maybe your favorite concert of all time.
I can absolutely answer that. I need to give the audience a really quick story that we're talking about music. And the first thing that came to mind is, I don't know if you did this once or multiple times, but every time you've gone to see Pitbull and you're wearing the bald cap, I've always gotten a picture of you in the bald cap. And I just have to say, if we can get that on the screen, please, that would be fantastic.
I don't know that I'm in the bald cap, but I've gone to him a lot.
I'm sure that there's a picture out there that we can find. I just want to bring that up as a separate aside so the audience gets to know you a little better. So my favorite band, we're totally switching. Garth Brooks is country, right? I think he's country, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I don't know.
King of country. Yes,
country's not my thing. I
know this. Yeah.
But my favorite band is a band called Glass Animals. I think we've talked about this. Maybe we have. But I've loved them for a long time. You want to say that I'm hip? I like them long before their big hit singles came out, and I saw them at Lincoln Hall, which is a small venue in Lincoln Park, Chicago, and I don't really know how many people, but it's a couple hundred, maybe just over 100, I want to say. Very small venue. And this is like right before they blew up. And they played the song that was like, Heat Waves. Everybody knows that song is big. It was big during like COVID and stuff. They played that unreleased that night.
Awesome.
And it was right before COVID shut down. So that's my favorite concert ever. I have their tour got canceled halfway through. So half of the tour dates on the t-shirt never happened. So that's my favorite t-shirt ever.
It's like vintage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that was my favorite concert. I went by myself, actually.
Did you?
Crazy enough. Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you gone to many concerts by yourself? I've done it one time.
I've usually got a buddy or a few.
Twice. I've done it twice.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, I went to Backstreet Boys alone. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah. No, I know this topic really well, actually.
I ended up with the Backstreet Boys alone.
Wait, hold on. Not to cut you off, but let me just, again, for the audience, it's music. Nicole and I talk random stuff all the time. Probably 25% of what we talk about is Nicole's love for the Backstreet Boys, and how often that comes up in conversation. It's probably shocking. Every third It's not shocking. Not knowing you, it's not shocking at all.
Yeah, it's like perfect problem, I like to say. I did forget I saw the Backstreet Boys alone, and I also David Guetta I saw alone too. So yeah, that was also a solid concert. Kind of forgot about that. I appreciate, though, that even as we're talking about our love for music and concerts together, we're still debating like which concerts are worth going to and maybe not. So
what are you going to do?
How many times have you seen the Glass Animals then? Just the one?
I think I've seen them like 4 times.
Okay.
Over the years.
And does it get better or
Still
same
good.
Every time?
Still good every time. That's one of those where I go and I know every single word. I don't know. I just love their stuff. I've always loved them.
Well, that's why I asked, because I've seen the Backstreet Boys about that many times and it doesn't get old. I'm going back. So
I heard. Oh, see, again, I already knew that about you, that you're going back.
I know. So you like the Glass Animals, other music. Like, what do you think in your mind is like the key to like a great concert or experience? And I can give you my example if you need some time to think about where I'm going with this.
I think I have an answer. And I think it's the showmanship.
Right.
I think, because I've been to concerts where I really love the music, and that's absolutely a part of it. But there's very little production, or there's very little effort put into the show itself. And I feel like playing a YouTube video in the back, I've been to a concert where that was the case, and I was like, give me something new. I'm spending all this money. Give me something to like walk away and go, wow, there's no way I would have seen that in any other way. So I guess a unique experience and the showmanship of it all. But yeah, that's my answer.
So I have a unique one, and it ties in, I guess, to Garth Brooks and the Backstreet Boys, 2 of my top concerts, even though I've seen a lot of really great ones.
Yeah.
But I think there's something about both of those shows. They're both very different bands, but when they both start, they start with a countdown clock. And it's not like there's not much else to the show. Like there's nobody opening for them because they're all well known. They don't need an opener. But when that countdown clock goes on, I had this thought recently at Garth Brooks, and he did that when I saw him like 12 years ago. He did the same thing. It is like this moment of like, this show is going to start. The show is going to be awesome. I think kind of to what you're saying, like the showmanship is still there when they get on stage, but it's like the anticipation building. After leaving that, I was like, this is like a really, really smart move. And I think sometimes people maybe at concerts leave you hanging. You don't know when they're coming out. You're waiting, or it's like even maybe putting too much thought into the before stuff that doesn't turn out great. So that was just like one recent thought I had that I'm like, this is something I would stand by as if I'm at a show and it starts with a countdown clock. It's going to be a pretty awesome time. So I'd be curious if others agree with that, disagree, but both Backstreet Boys and Garth Brooks, that's the approach they take, and it's awesome.
Wow. I don't know if I ever paid too much attention to it, but maybe that's the anticipation like growing in the background.
You're like, because it like shows up. It's not there the whole time. Like it shows up at, I think the Backstreet Boys is a couple minutes out. Garth Brooks was only 2 minutes out. So it's like, get to your seats. Like we're about to get rolling.
Time to go. Time to rock.
time to party. So yeah, so that's like what's up. You know, I love going to concerts in the summer, and
yeah, I know.
I'm down for like any live music. So
yeah,
always open for a show.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about your idea today.
Yeah. So it's my party pitch. Trying to say that. If you get where I'm going.
I like you had like a little delay earlier.
It's my party pitch. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's how you should do it.
Seeing if it gets picked up as a different word maybe when the captions come on, but no. Okay. So my idea.
Yes.
So I would just like to say that this idea actually came, Marc, from our podcast house business, which I think is awesome. So listeners, pay attention, because I actually, while listening to our very own podcast, kind of reviewing it, hearing how everything goes, and hearing our last episodes after they came out of production, this idea came to me. So success right there. Like there's an idea from our podcast. But
totally,
what this idea came from, it's my party pitch, is lately you and I have been talking a lot about our summer schedules and our life in general with friends. So in the last few episodes, you have talked about that you're in bachelor party season, I guess. Marc's not bachelor himself, but bachelor party season.
Correct.
And I've been talking about the fact that all my friends are turning 40. And again, I'm not turning 40. My friends are. So just making that clear for our listeners, me and Marc. But we've spent a lot of time talking about this. And one of the struggles that I am having personally with my friends is I want to be there for all of my friends and I want to celebrate them all. And we are in very different seasons of life, like every group of friends is, or family, where, you know, some of our friends are, you know, have a lot of expendable income. Some not as much. Some have some, you know, still student loans because they went to graduate school or have small babies. Some have older kids. And so everyone's just in a season of life. And we are trying to plan how to celebrate this 40th birthday, because we all love each other, and this travel. And I had the idea for this app. So an app that would allow you to work with your friends or family, whoever, like you're going on this trip with, to assign everyone, you know, everyone can log into it. So I'm going to use myself as the user experience in the group. So let's say it is my birthday and I'm signing into this app with my friends saying, I want to know where everybody wants to go. So it's customizable in many ways of location. It can be customizable in things like how many nights can you go away? And most importantly, the budget. So everyone can maybe put into this app like their average spend. And being customizable, things we can dive into is I envision this being weighted maybe. So it could be everybody gets equal votes. Or if it's my birthday or my wedding, maybe I get 25% of the vote and then hear my friends. But kind of allowing you to put things into a pool that is then mashed together, all this data, and spits out like an end result of here's what the average spend is of this trip. Here's the average request of how many nights this trip should be. You could even do location. You could offer things like location. You could offer things like dress code. I mean, I think you could be so customizable, but I think the issue this is solving is, once again, sometimes being invited to something or wanting to be a part of something, and it can sometimes just not be feasible in your own life or in the person throwing the event. And so I'm going to pause for a second if you have questions, and I can keep going with how this could be customizable for different groups, because I would also entertain, Marc, as you think on this, to maybe think of it from your perspective of, you know, I think especially for like weddings and bachelor and bachelorette parties, it's like this is a common theme for many things. So that's my party pitch. And what questions do you have?
Great. You know, I sort of, let me recap it a little bit for me. And then you tell me if I got it. It's sort of a combination of, you know, other things that are out there, you know, like, but it almost, the way you're talking about it when you're planning budget and stuff, this almost is like a project management tool for a party, which is kind of cool. I mean, you don't think about the money aspect, and I know a lot of people try not to talk about that. That's something that can be hard to talk about among friends, you know? First question I have is, if we're starting this app, you know, where's the revenue coming in? Where do you see revenue coming in for this? Is it a paid subscription to the app? Is it sort of a use, you know, you're paying for the usage of it? Let's start with revenue.
Yeah, obviously revenue is the most important part of this podcast. I think, you know, you'd have to have I think with most apps, you have to have a free version, like to start, or at least to like get that interest. And then maybe there's a paid version with extra features. So always like with the user as well in development to have those additional features, whatever they might be. But I think the business opportunity here could also be through different advertisements, like destinations. You could have advertisements for wedding type bachelor bachelorettes. Like I think of the world we live in, you are sold this idea that your bachelor party or bachelorette party should look like something XYZ in Las Vegas, Nashville, Florida, wherever you're going. But I think there's a lot of opportunities with the advertisement is how I think of the app making the most money, the advertisement of destinations or places or things to do. But then also, I do think a user account or having user fees with extra customizable subscriptions would be worthwhile as well.
Yeah. So sponsorships, I guess, would be sponsorships of places that are saying, I'm starting a bachelor party or bachelorette trip or something like that. Why don't you come to Key West?
Perfect.
So is that kind of where you're saying,
right, like that, or even, you know, taking that a step further, like, because I think you're exactly right. Like there's a lot of technology and apps like this that kind of exist. And I like that you talked about it being like project management.
Yeah.
But it also could be a little bit about even like a little Groupon type of thing in there too, of like, let's say once you've planned the trip, then you maybe have the opportunity to say like, hey, we heard you're going to Cancun, Mexico. Have you heard of this club, Coco Bongo? Yeah. Here's tickets. Here's, you know, whatever it might be in that sense of sponsorship too. So not even just like the destination, but, you know, I think you could get really savvy with how it's then using like the geo-marketing and all the ad stuff to track to that group too.
Yeah. You could even have a tiered system of sponsorship. So then it could be people kind of like Google advertisements, really. Yep. That's how you get your place to the top of the list. Okay, I've got a separate question. I'm pivoting off from revenue for a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the kind of the weighted aspect. So could talk a little bit more and try to explain a little bit more to me of how would you weight votes? Let's just start there.
So initially when I thought of this, it was like, you know, thinking of my own group of friends right now. There's, let's say 9-10 of us that it's like, okay, if we all put our average into this of like, you know, again, what we want to spend, where we want to go, to some point, kind of, you don't need to even see everyone's spending amounts that they're putting in, which I think would make it really unique. But the weighted average really came to me in the sense of a bachelor party, a bachelorette party, where it's like, okay, it is your event, or even like your birthday, wedding, you know, whatever. In the event that like it is your event, or maybe it's you and one other person are really planning this, but you're inviting others to join in. Like the idea of maybe a sliding percentage of, okay, Nicole gets 25% of the opportunity to pick the location, but if every single person is out voting her, then it's kind of shifting in that capacity. I also think like with the custom feature, it'd be really awesome to see like you could pick and choose what you're asking. So maybe I already know, as we've discussed, that I want to go to Key West in the last episode. Yeah. Maybe I'm not even asking my friends, like it's my wedding and this is where we're going. But like how much do you want to spend and how many nights can we go? Things can we do? That's kind of where the customize feature comes in, like a sliding scale or a percentage.
Yeah, so it's not even, it might not even just be just the location, but it can also be the various, how nice of a hotel do we need? How much are we willing to spend? So I think there's a lot, you could mix and match an entire trip with this.
Right.
You know, that's pretty, I like how you're sort of bringing all your friends into the decision making. Now, obviously my first caveat to that is that might make things a little bit more difficult if you got everybody making decisions. So I guess what would you say to that criticism if there's a lot of different ideas and it's still hard to agree? Is there a mediator of some kind that you think?
Well, and I think that's where like the app and like the technology of it, again, we go back to like the tech coding background to figure this out of how the sliding scale and stuff works. I guess like to answer your question, like I've thought on like, this is something that probably is not going to work for every single bride or every single group of friends where like you are obviously going to have some of the people that are like very headstrong on what they're going to do, what they want to do. But I think for the groups that, especially like when you're talking, Marc, about having multiple weddings in a year, if it's multiple people in the friend group, like it's just kind of the option of having that out there. So again, I don't know, to answer your question, that is a problem I've thought about too. Like, how would you make this more appealing for everyone? And that's where I really spent a lot of time thinking about like the budgeting part of it, right?
Yeah.
That's where I kind of came up with like, what if it's like this anonymous input that you put it in and it gives you like a range or an average of like, hey, if you guys are going way over this or even way under this, like you're not meeting the expectations of the whole group. So yeah, I don't know. It's still always going to kind of naturally, I think, just fall to one or two people to kind of then implement plans. But this is almost kind of like a travel agent app to help get through maybe some of that beginning stuff. Or I'll pause for a second. Like, I guess, do you have additional thoughts on like how this could even pivot? Because I'll admit, like, I think this is a great concept, but there's some like tweaks to work out that I'd be curious how you'd maybe fix it.
I think I'm going to go back to kind of what I was saying just a little bit earlier. I'm trying to see where the bulk of the money would come from in terms of, funding it and everything. So I think I think the technology part is actually relative to other things that we've talked about. I think on a much more manageable scale, able to implement and things like that, because you're really going to have to justify the sponsorships with user numbers. And I think that would be the first hurdle.
Right.
But in terms of upping that, I'll instead of just being doom and gloom, what I would suggest is I love the friend idea for planning parties. I think it can be expanded. I think you could put this into other contexts as well. Kind of like you said, travel agent was one of the first things that came to mind, that this could help you with your family instead of, it's almost like if you've ever tried to plan a trip like with ChatGPT and other AI platforms, it kind of does something similar to that, but it doesn't know your preferences and it doesn't really, kind of doesn't know exactly what it's doing. But this might be a way to kind of get around that of, I've got a family of 6 and here's the budget exactly. Give me recommendations based on how much you know me already. And then I think that gets a little bit away from the multiple person input type of thing that is kind of like the crux of the idea. But that might be a way to kind of branch into another market with it, with the same concept or with the same app, I should say.
Well, and what if even like the app was, okay, so you go through this input, like either you're individually planning for a trip or even, I go on trips regularly, like with my siblings, my parents. It's like, and oftentimes we'll talk about where we want to go too. So again, it's like maybe you have the option to have the 5 input. Maybe you just have the 1 and you're planning it like you mentioned. But maybe when it does like kick out the recommendations, I think the money could be made through like, maybe it's connected directly through a hotel, like hotel chains, or like, here's 3 hotel options. Here's your car rental. So again, technology that exists that's similar to like a Expedia or like a kayak, where when you go to check out, it's like, wait, do you need a rental car? Wait, do you need this? And it's kind of then putting in those sources and taking like a percentage cut similar to like a travel agent to make the money on the app.
Expedia is a really good example, I think, here. And I think something that Expedia lacks, I'll say, and I use Expedia all the time, but something it lacks is planning the fun stuff or planning the, or being really friendly to your budget. It can be difficult to use for that. And then forget about other user input. I mean, I think that's the big ticket idea here is having multiple inputs weighted together like a project tool. You know,
right.
you're kind of hitting on a couple of different things. Maybe having the Expedia arm of, you know, we have partnerships. If you book this hotel with our service, with our app, you get a 15% discount or something like that. And then maybe that could flow through back to the owner of the app, whoever makes this.
Or if like you're a user that's paying that subscription fee, maybe you're also getting deals, you know, the app fee. You're paying an extra fee for the app, and you are someone that regularly is planning trips. Maybe that's like how you're getting discounts or percentage points or something towards your travel. And again, the app creator is like similar to a lot of apps you're on where there's so many advertisements, kind of getting a percentage of that as well.
Yeah, I think if we could, like, if we keep thinking about where are the other users going to come in, I think that's your biggest selling point. Plan
users
it with
for
your friends.
App? Yep.
Yeah, for the app. So I think if you're selling it to people, I think this is maybe that is your best marketing point. And I think I almost think the discounts part that we're talking about, while important and while necessary as a part of revenue to make it sustainable for somebody trying to run that business, I think what you really need is you need quite a few users before that's even viable, that any place would kind of look at you and say, actually, I do want to make a deal with you, or I do want to give you a percentage of the business that we get. So I think one of the biggest hurdles is getting a good user base to actually sell it to places that would want to do sponsorships. Marketing it to like families, saying like, you know, planning family vacations can be a nightmare sometimes. And I think this even applies to this. I mean, we brought up friends as the main one. The money part can be even harder to talk about with families, between families. There's a lot of reasons why people don't do that. And this sort of shifts the burden away from people who are uncomfortable talking about it or just can't afford to do what other members of their family want to do. So I think you could really market it to bigger family vacations as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think it could be kind of just so many different areas. Cause I even thought about like spring break, like when you don't have a lot of money at all in college and it's like you want to try going somewhere for the first time, you know, that could be an option, like all the way up through just every phase of life where you're trying to plan these group outings with different people. Maybe one of the areas that this app, like the most important part of this app, which is maybe like thinking on it as we're talking, and an uncomfortable thing even to think about with all apps, is I really think the person making money on this app, the product is coming from the information that people are inputting into it with preferences. So it's like you're also getting this information on group preferences, how much they want to spend to kind of help with different marketing and geo tools for other organizations that you're partnering with, like these hotels, these vacation destinations as well. So that's also where I think there's revenue, and part of the thing nobody wants to think about with different apps that they're using is that's also how they're making money.
The more we talk about this, there's so many different apps that I can think of that are fairly used and fairly popular that, like, I wouldn't say almost do this, but they do a component of what you're doing where you split the bachelor party costs, for example. I've seen apps that do that. But really what this is benefiting is you're almost avoiding the uncomfortable conversations of, you owe me this much money post-bachelor trip, just as an example. Or everything's spelled out super clear ahead of time, and so you're avoiding that, which I think is valuable. I think there is value there for sure. What I wanted to ask you, go ahead.
No, you're okay.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, I've used like Splitwise, for example, like the apps you're talking about.
I was thinking of Splitwise.
I was on a bachelorette party. We used it. It was great. But at the end, there still were just what you said, like those uncomfortable, you're still asking people for money. And it's like still that, you know, it's in an app, so you don't have to do it in person. But yeah, this is like where, when I was spinning on it a little, I'm like, this is like a step further of an upfront conversation on, like, let's set some expectations. And then obviously if you go somewhere and one person wants to spend more or go over, that's fine. But it's like, it's still the expectation that the average cost or average event is in there. So go ahead. What were you going to mention?
I had a separate question. So I'm thinking of interface. Okay. We're mentioning all these different apps, Splitwise being one that comes to mind. How would you market the interface of it so that it's user friendly? I know we mentioned the sliding scale. What do you envision it looking like like when you open the app, what do you think?
Well, I think this will not be a surprise to anyone, but when I like envision this app, I think it would be it'd be fun to have like neat names for everything. So it's not like you're saying sliding scale or percentage. It's like asking fun, quirky questions or having it be like a fun platform that you want to fill it out. It's not like you're filling out a boring survey, but it's maybe saying like, I can't even like how much dough are you willing to cough up? And that's maybe the worst way I've ever explained that. But like, I'm just trying to think of like something fun. And I think it could be, I initially pictured like a sliding scale. It needs to be like attractive, needs to be fun, especially if it's for a variety of ages and maybe not look so heavy like a survey.
Yeah. I had an idea that might make this a little more fun. Like people love these. What if you made the answering process fun? So what's something that people find fun? BuzzFeed personality quizzes.
Perfect.
Something like that. Or it's just like the money question is important. Absolutely.
Right.
But I think another part that can be very difficult is also deciding what everybody wants to do or what everybody's interested in. Because I could tell you between 3 of my best friends, we all like different things, And so going on trips with, 8 to 10 people, as my one friend and I have planned this bachelor party that's coming up pretty soon, there's a lot of conversation about what would be fun for the guy whose party we're going to and everybody else. You have to sort of take that into account. There might be fun ways to kind of get personality questions in there, things to that effect.
Well, like just kind of helps get the preferences. I get where you're going with that. And I think that's a great idea where, maybe it's a really, really great system like a BuzzFeed quiz where it's asking you those types and it's kind of putting you into categories. So you're not even like a personality test where you're sometimes not even sure the questions you're fully answering, but it's giving you kind of an output. I did find one that was interesting. And I've seen this actually pop up before. It seemed like a company that was doing pretty well, but it's actually a company where you go in, you fill out a survey, and then I think pay up front and you take a blind vacation. Like it sends you to the survey and it sends you to like a blind destination. And it's kind of advertised as like be adventurous, go on a kind of a blind date. You can put in how many people are going. I didn't like get too far down the path, but the website had testimonials. Looks interesting. I don't know for me, like I think the concept of preferences, like I do have a few, like I don't know that I'd be pumped to go on a blind vacation. Like I don't need to know everything I'm doing or where, like as we've talked about, I just need to know where I'm going and what hotel I'm staying at. But I guess what's your thoughts on that? Like, would you do a vacation like that, or has a listener done one? We'd like to hear that too. But Marc, what are your thoughts? We
definitely would, because that sounds terrifying. So just
okay,
right off
you're
the
with
bat,
me. I'm like, I don't know.
Listen, I'm all for an adventure, but not knowing where I'm going and not knowing where I'm staying until I would assume the last minute is what this is kind of talking about.
Well, I think you get like an envelope of your trip. So I think you get like the envelope of like what to pack, what to bring, like a general idea of like you get to pick mountain or beach. And I assume that they're obviously making money off of these arrangements because you're not sure where you're going. And maybe I shouldn't assume how they're making money, but I don't know. I would love to hear if anyone has done this, would do this. And even just this idea I'm presenting, like, again, I think there's a really great concept here. It's not completely fleshed out, but it's kind of there. So I'd be curious on other thoughts there too.
I got to be honest. I would love to know how many people would want to do that. And I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It sounds cool. Give us a sliding scale here to see how many of people want to do that.
A sliding scale of how many people would go on a blind vacation.
Poll is the right word I was going for.
A poll where you don't know. Would you go on a blind vacation where you don't know where you're going, where you're staying, but you have
what you're doing?
Put this into a survey. Yeah.
What you'll be eating? I have a lot of questions about that. This is
what you'll be eating.
Yeah. Well, I want to know. Gosh.
You're like, I need to know.
I'm like, I need to know. Am I gonna get squid, or am I gonna get like cereal? I don't know what. It's a lot. It's a wide range.
It's a lot of questions. Yeah.
But if that scares you, something like Nicole's idea is a perfect way to not do that. That's the opposite of what we're saying here. Of the planning is going to be so well described that you and all your friends will know exactly what you're doing ahead of time. So
with this idea, it's my party pitch. I just like saying that. The biggest thing it's solving is, I think, the conversation, we'll say, that can go along with planning a group vacation and maybe like being a part of a group, wanting to feel a part of the group, and sometimes being the one that either can't afford the trip financially or wants to afford something different. Maybe even the one left out with destinations or how many nights you can get away because you can't leave work, you can't leave kids. So this concept is really solving like an aggregated response from a group. And like Marc said at the beginning, kind of a project management tool to do that.
Yeah, you had a great pitch on the pros. I think I'll just be the couple of
the negative one
that I could think of.
Bring us down.
But the biggest two things, unlike things we've mentioned in the past, I think technical limitations are actually not the worst. Is not really going to be the biggest issue here, as long as you are savvy with making apps, or at least are able to figure it out. I think that's maybe the least difficulty. I think the biggest thing is just trying to find a revenue stream and then growing the user base quickly enough so that you're able to keep it sustainable and run it. So I think this is almost the biggest question becomes a revenue. Where would you find the revenue? But
okay.
I think the idea has, obviously the idea has merits. I think using it as an aggregate tool, there is something to sell there for sure. I think that the meat of that is definitely something that people would use, and not everybody is a savvy planner, or, that could be hard for people. I know that's harder for me to kind of get all the details right, especially for other people. So I think there's definitely value to it.
So we have another idea on the house that was actually us. This idea came from us on the house. Is that how I would say that? Like listening to our own banter on this podcast. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. But I guess take this idea, use this idea. Let us know like what massive holes are in this, or if you would use it. And again, also, if you would go on a blind vacation, we want to know that too, of course. So
I really want to know if you'd go on a blind vacation. Please answer that question. I need to know who is doing that.
In detail. Like, I don't want to just know if you're going on a blind vacation. Like, I want to know, like, detail. Like, tell me and Marc what we're missing here, because we're curious. We like to know things. So
yeah, I'd love to know.
You can find House Business, as always. We're on Instagram, House Business Podcast. We're on YouTube. You can watch us, or you can listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Share with your friends. And if you do take one of these ideas, please let us know, and we'll come drink some champagne with you on that yacht.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on House Business.
Hey, now feels like a great time to mention that this podcast is produced by My4 Creative.
Couldn't think of a better time than now.
They work with businesses and organizations on all their video marketing needs, and they make it a super simple process.
I hear they're doing podcasts now. Is that true?
It is. New this year, they are offering podcast production, which is super exciting.
And believe me when I say, they make you look and sound your absolute best.
We look awesome. Learn more at my4creative.com. My4 Creative, video production simplified. Now, back to business.
Nicole, we have a little bit of feedback
okay.
from your What's Up idea from a little bit ways back. And if you could refresh for the listeners just really quick in a few sentences, kind of what's the idea, and then I'll kind of give you the feedback.
So the What's Up idea was the concept of using supplements maybe without flavor, having multiple supplements added together, being customizable. So for example, like a protein, creatine, pre-workout, and then being able to add your flavor, and being able to do that with a variety of products online. I think that kind of sums it up.
Yeah, for sure. So some of the feedback this specific feedback that I got was more of a suggestion than anything. How would you feel about doing something like a quiz or kind of like a biometric scan to kind of give, like, I wouldn't say your body's age, but you know how you can get your
like an in-body scan or a body like a body age. I know, yeah.
I don't know how to describe it exactly right, but it kind of like your biometric age or something is not the same as your actual. It's kind of like based on your health or whatever. So what do you think about that? And I have one more, but what do you think about that?
I love it. I think any like technology or quiz that this interface could add would be great. I think to that point, like if you were able to have your results plugged into this app and get some maybe suggestions or results, I think as the business, if you're the business owner, that is even going to be so much stronger for you, because let's say I'm taking this and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I didn't know that I should be taking protein above the age of 35. You're going to add more product, I think, with that quiz. I would just give the caveat of it's still maybe customizable, that like you do this and you're like, hey, you know what? Thank you for the suggestion. I still don't need it. So maybe going both ways, but I think that's great.
You phrased the question better than I asked it, I think, but that's exactly what.
Be perfect. Thank you for that feedback. Whoever gave it, I love it.
Yeah, it was good. I had one more to the what's up. Kind of idea. Did you envision this as only kind of scoops of powder, or could people select kind of a pill form? Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I envisioned it as powder. I envisioned it as powder in like bag form that gets shipped to you, again, to cut the cost of like a container. But yeah, a mix of powder. Like we talked about in the episode, though, I did at one time belong to a supplement company for vitamins and in a pill form. And I loved it. And several of my friends did it too. So that business did go under. I wish they didn't, because I did it for several years. So I would not be opposed to that idea too. I mean, I think it's any time you can make it easier and more customizable, I think it's great. And I think that's great feedback as well.
Yeah, just a few points to bring up to kind of boost the idea a little bit. But
yeah, I love it. Yeah. I think other feedback we got, our friends at Northwestern shared our podcast, which is exciting. And more and more friends from Northwestern have been shooting us messages. So just want to shout all of them out. And thanks for listening. I think that's great. Shout out Northwestern. We love you guys. I also just wanted to add, coming up, so House of Heidi, we have our most popular event that we're doing, and it's our TRL party. And I was curious if you knew what TRL stood for or what that means.
I'm going to ask you, should I know what that means?
Okay. So I think you should, because you deal with me and all my messages and everything I'm up to. But TRL is Total Request Live. It is an MTV show that was very popular in I think the years probably 2001 to 2008. Okay. So I realized you were very little at that time, but
Nicole, I got to be honest with you. I don't know what this is. I thought I did, but like,
this is why I wanted to have this conversation, because I was like, I think this shows I have gone fully in on this party, Marc. This is the second year of doing it. I have a Carson Daly cutout that comes to the party. Do you know who that is?
I have no idea who that is.
So I've gone all in on this, and I've been carrying this Carson Daly cutout around. I guess people of your age every time are like, "What? Who is that? Who is that? What is TRL?" And I'm like, "Oh, maybe I've gone too far with this one." Shout out Carson Daly. I don't understand how no one knows how he is, because not only
what Marc, did he do? Is he
he was the host of TRL? He was honestly so famous at that time. And I've argued this, many men that are your age, Marc, this is going to blow your mind. Many men that are your age, you know the name Carson or Carter, Caden, the rise of the C. Don't know a Caden.
I've never met a Caden.
The rise of the C names is because of Carson Daly.
First of all, I think Caden starts with a K, but we can go on from there. But
I do know one with a C. Shout out Caden. He's my burn coach. Shout out Caden. But he also had no idea who Carson Daly was. And I'm like, you're named after him.
If we're going to do, you know what? If we're going to do another poll here, since we're talking about polls, I bet you more people don't know who Carson Daly is than actually know who it is. So
this would be
I'm
great.
going to stand by that.
To know our listener demographic as well, because I would say any elder millennial, or I don't even want to use elder, I don't know. What's the difference?
You're doing fine. Yeah, you got it.
Nope, okay.
Nope, I'm leaving you alone for this one.
In Nicole's camp is going to know who Carson Daly is. It's a very important part of my after-school routine and part of my love for the Backstreet Boys. So,
are you Team Marc or are you Team Nicole? This is where do you make this stand right now? Team Marc doesn't know who Carson Daly is.
And Team Nicole definitely does. And if your name is Carson, Carter, Caden, you're named after this man. Just know that.
That just can't be true. It just can't be true.
It literally is.
This right here feel like money. This right here feel like money. Ooh. Money moves. Ooh. Money moves. Ooh. This right here feel like money. This right here feel like money.